This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
The Tur in Siman Tav Kuf Pei Aleph brings that the minhag in Ashkenaz was to fast on Erev Rosh Hashanah. It's interesting, even in the Ezra's Torah calendar, it's brought that there's a custom to fast on Erev Rosh Hashanah until Chatzos. In many of the yeshivos, that is the custom until today. And if somebody were to ask, is it a proper custom to fast on Erev Rosh Hashanah until Chatzos? It is. One we would say would be allowed to fast. Typically, we don't just fast. It's memayet in Meleches Shamayim. It weakens a person, and they're not able to daven and learn as well. But Erev Rosh Hashanah, it is considered appropriate if one is able to fast until Chatzos. But the Tur uses the following analogy, and he brings the mashal that the mashal would be a city, says the Torah, an Ir Gedol, a large city that owed great taxes to the king, and the city was not paying, and the king came to collect the taxes and to wage war against the city. And the Torah brings that first they send out representatives, the leaders of the city, to placate the king, and the king forgoes a third, and then they send out average people to placate the king, until finally the king comes to the city and everyone goes out to greet and to placate the king. So too, says the Tur, on Erev Rosh Hashanah, the Gedolim fast, the leaders, the Tzaddikim fast, Aser Simei Tshuva, even the average people fast, and on Yom Kippur, everyone fasts. So the Chasam Sofer discusses in a number of places why the Tur then concludes that everyone should fast on Erev Rosh Hashanah, if in the Mashal, and in the Nimshal even, as the Torah explains it, only the Gedolim are fasting. But be it as it may, the Chasam Sofer, in his drashos for Rosh Hashanah on page Tes, on the fourth column, Chasam Sofer offers a very innovative pshat, because it's not really mandated that Gedolim or anybody has to fast on Erev Rosh Hashanah. It's not really mandated halachically that anyone has to fast on Aser Simei Tshuva, except for Yom Kippur. So the Chasam Sofer learns that this is all an analogy, and this is something that can be meaningful for those who don't have the physical stamina to fast on Erev Rosh Hashanah and to fast on Aser Simei Tshuva. This could be a meaningful way of being Mekayim, this inyan brought in the Torah. And that is, says the Chasam Sofer, when we say Gedolim, when we say Beinanim, when we say Ketanim, we don't refer to great people, average people, small people, but rather Gedolim may refer to our higher element, Beinanim refers to our average element, and Ketanim refers to our lowest element. So Erev Rosh Hashanah, the Gedolim fast, meaning one needs to fast in their greatest component, in their greatest dimension, and that is the Rosh and the Lev. And that is, one has to fast in his head, meaning to be machnia oneself, to humble oneself, and in one's life by pouring out their heart to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. As we know, it is not the fasting and the sackcloth which is valuable, but rather tearing one's heart. That's what it means. One should fast in the Gedolim fast. The highest element of the human being needs to do tshuva. Then it comes Aser Simei Tshuva, and we focus on Masim Tovim and Mitzvahs through our Evarim. The Evarim are vis-a-vis the Rosh and the Lev, are the Beinanim, the average element of the person. And then comes Yom Kippur, even the intestines, even the Bnei Me'ayim, the lowest element, the Pchusim of the person, the Chol Kravai, Hashem Kadsha, even the lowest element of a human being, does Tshuva HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So, while for those who do have stamina, it is considered a noble practice to try to fast part of the day, but if one is not able to do so, one is not physically capable, then one could fulfill the Torah through this interpretation of the Chasam Sofer, that Erev Rosh Hashanah, one focuses on humbling oneself before HaKadosh Baruch Hu, pouring out one's heart in tefillah. The Aser Simei Tshuva, one focuses on mitzvahs and masim tovim, and comes Yom Kippur, even the guf, even the intestines, do tshuva before HaKadosh Baruch Hu. May we be zoicha to be among those who do a tshuva shleima l'fnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.